Lighthouse is probably Tarkov's most beautiful map. It's basically a postcard with snipers, which is nice, because you'll have plenty of time to admire the scenery when you're trying to figure out which bush that bullet came from. In Tarkov, and especially on Lighthouse, there's one universal rule. Whoever moves first dies. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the biggest decisions you'll make on Lighthouse before you ever fire a shot. We'll cover where to rush off spawn, when it's smarter to slow down, how to predict where the other PMCs are likely to be based on their spawn, and once you start recognizing those early raid patterns, the Lighthouse becomes a whole lot less random and a whole lot more survivable. Let's jump in. So if you joined a Lighthouse raid, it probably wasn't for fun, because nobody plays this map for fun. You probably have one of these quests, either it be Punisher 4, Test Drive 3, or the one that everyone really doesn't like is Assessment Part 1 because of the kill radius. Let's jump into some real raids. For these next two raids, I wanted to give an overhead perspective of how I push this. Essentially, when I spawn on the Chalet Road, I'm going to push up towards this ridge face. And whoever spawns on the southern road usually likes to push up to the rock to overlook the beach, in which case I can get right up behind him and get a clear shot on him, as you'll see in these next two raids. Oh, yes. God spawn. While most people run to the right to rush Chalet, I go left. Because I like to push the backside of the mountain here. That way when the south road spawn pushes up to the other side of the rocks, I can drop in right behind them. Once I get to about this point, I stop running, so they don't hear me. Yep, there we go. I'm just playing with my food. Did I lose him? Shouldn't have sat on that one that long. Almost let him go. Favorite spawn. Show you why right here. This could be a good spawn. If and only if someone decides to rush any of those peaks. So I want you to pay attention during this raid, because I use bait nades quite a bit to pull them off the mountain for the kill. Once I get into the cabin here, I peek up at each side of the mountain to make sure no one's peeking over. Be careful though not to expose yourself, because anyone who's aware of this spot will look into this cabin. Imagining it. Oh. Do have one there. Come on. Although just stop wiggling for a second. Actually, I'm laying down so I won't lose arm stand. Anyway. At this point, he disappears for a few minutes, so this is when I decide to use the bait nades to bring him back. Even get him with a bait nade. Did come back. So again, he disappears for a few minutes, so he's obviously an experienced player. At this point, I'm assuming he's going to push down the mountain. Alright, he's not going to come down. Something tells me he did come down, though. Because he has not peaked. Alright. Risk it for the biscuit. Pray he doesn't see us. Oh god, I think I saw him. Did I just hear a attack device to my right? I think I did. Knew he'd come down. Ooh. Well, this is the second worst spawn you can probably get, but sometimes it works out. Sometimes you can toss a couple bait nades toward the village and pull someone to peek over the mountain. Didn't mean to do that. See if we can get someone. Come on. All right, surely 2 nades and a shot. Have to pull somebody in. And just like that, it seemed like the bait worked. Go. It's a 2-man. Remember, if you're fighting a 2-man, always let the first guy go. Shoot the second guy. If you shoot the first guy, the second guy will always get you. Get his buddy. At this point, I knew for sure his buddy was going to be camping his body, so I did a pretty giant wrap all the way around through the destroyed village and wrapped around and got him. Don't know if I can get a good vantage point up here. Try though. Not in a great position. I'm guessing his buddy's going to be in this tree line somewhere with line of sight. The body is in the middle of the road, like right around here somewhere. Oh, there we go. GG. But yeah, I called it. I knew he'd be some form of line of sight. I really hope these last few minutes have given you a better idea of how to approach these kills. Essentially, you spawn, find a pretty close hiding spot, and wait for a PMC to cross your path. It's a little more difficult than just straight ratting, because you're going to have to understand PMC movements based on other spawns, but once you get to that point, you'll be able to get people before they get to the water treatment plant anyway.